Alright, here we are. Maybe a day late, but the internet was not being very helpful last night. But hello guys, how are you getting on? My name's Aaron Kelly, and welcome to The Verdict Live once again, episode 3. We're back once again. We'll just give it a minute or two once again. You guys know what I do at the start of these streams. I always log on and to the Shy Talk channel and watch the stream on there, so to make sure everything is A-OK. But turns out internet is a bit fucking wank at night, so we tried to stream last night, but once again it didn't go too well for us. There we go. Here we are. We're live. Now, honestly, I'm not expecting to see too many people in the chat, but if you're out there, Robbie is in the chat, man. This is what we call the GOAT. Robbie Crow in there once again. Oi, oi. How are you? I am not too bad. We've been better. Because if you're a fan of the channel, or if you've seen the last video, yeah, we had a fun old GA match last Wednesday against Ballymahan, and yeah, it didn't end too well for me. If you know, you know. You're typing and click this by mistake. Listen, Kyle, clicking onto an Aaron Kelly stream is never a mistake. Alright? Probably the best mistake of all time. Ah, Christ. Anyway. Lovely stuff. We might as well advertise that we're live. And whoever jumps in, jumps in. We're getting to our boxes very shortly. But let us know how you're doing down in the chat down below. And if you're having a wonderful Tuesday? It is Tuesday, isn't it? It is Tuesday. Okay. Fucking big brain. Let me see. Oh fuck, I have to get the thumbnail. Just give us a second. But yeah, funny old story. The old match last Wednesday evening ended up in casualty. You love to see that. You absolutely love to see it. And turns out teeth are a bit fucked as well. So the old gum shield didn't do me too much help. But it, yeah, I mean, to be fair, only for my teeth probably would have been knocked out. So we can thank it for that at least. Let's just get a link for the stream, shall we? For the verdict. Shoot the link. Sweet as. Okay, so anyway, once again, what we have here is our verdict graphic for the week. If you want to start getting your early predictions in, the boxes have already been decided. If you can convince me to change my mind, as always, you can try and feel free. But as always, we have. Hang on. There. Green box is for our performance of the week, or our GOAT of the week, I guess you could say. Yellow box is for the wow shocking moment of the week. There was a few of them. Once again, it's the Premier League, so things are always going to be a little bit crazy. But let me just try and catch up here. You going to the game on Saturday? I hope to. That is the plan. I am hoping to get to the game. Now, was it a clean 50-50 tackle or was it a scrap on the ground? Kyle, it wasn't a scrap, I'll tell you that much. From what I've been told, before we get into the box, we will run briefly through this. We're recording a podcast tomorrow, by the way. So if anyone has any questions for tomorrow's podcast, you can leave it in the chat now as well. It'd be a good way to get in touch with that. Essentially, junior match. So junior football is not for the most skillful of players. That's why I'm playing. And I decided, because I'm quite fast, to make an old run up the pitch. Apparently you can't do that in junior football without getting absolutely flattened. And I did. Clean old elbow. That's why my mouth is bollocksed and my teeth aren't great either. But we're alive. We're still kicking. Junior A or B, not even, Robbie. It was Junior C, if you can believe that. So that's how I spent my Wednesday, and didn't leave casualty till about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Love to see it. Anyway, we'll get cracking. Kyle has an idea for Darwin in the green box. Darwin is getting a mention. He is getting a mention. But this is going to come across as the Chelsea bias. But I'm going to say this from a standpoint of, like I say, of bias. And from a standpoint of, I've not seen my club win a game at home since March 7th. Do you want to get that through your head right now? So, for that very reason, this man has started off the season superbly for Chelsea. Raheem Sterling with 2 goals and an assist the other night in Chelsea's 3-0 win over Luton. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to put him in the green box. And I think he deserves a lot of credit, because he's one of those players that I kind of looked on and said maybe he's not good enough for Chelsea. I thought maybe he was not coming towards the end, but I actually called him a bit of a fraud at times last season, because I thought maybe in that Man City team it was very easy to look good. However, he's come in a different man for Chelsea this season, and he started off the season very, very well. He even looks stronger than he did last season. I'm not sure if that's down to the work he's doing in pre-season or behind the scenes. Jack Greavac, keen a crossbar in Green Eric. Lad, that crossbar has suffered enough. But we didn't break it, thank God. Fuck me, lad. If you haven't seen the new football video, by the way, go watch it. It's literally the last upload on the channel. Uploaded, I think yesterday. Maybe it was Sunday. Fucking banger, man. Such a funny video. And we actually had to really rush through that video as well, for reasons that will become apparent when you watch. But myself and Mr. Greavac absolutely smashing it out of the park as usual. Shock horror there. But Raheem Sterling, I mean, he sets up Nicholas Jackson as well for his first ever Chelsea goal as well. And I just think he looks a new... I mean, listen, the first goal was really well taken. Could Luton have defended it better? Probably. And I will say this, Luton Town don't look like a Premier League side. They look like a side that are going straight back down, honestly. They're actually even worse than I thought they were going to be. And obviously there's external circumstances for that, you know. But Raheem Sterling was excellent. He really was. Now, it's a game we had to win and we should have won, and luckily we did, and it was fairly convincing in the end. Took us a while, but it was convincing in the end. But a win is a win, and we'll absolutely take that with both hands. And again, it comes down to next couple of games. You got, I think, Forest at home and Bournemouth at home. Both have to be wins and have to be convincing performances if Chelsea are to stake a claim. Because I'm looking at the teams that, you look at it on paper, I know Chelsea were shocking bad last season and finished fucking 12th. But, you know, you do look at it, and the teams that are usually around us, United won the weekend. Were very poor again. Very poor. And the penalty was probably debatable. Probably a little bit debatable. There probably is a little bit of contact on Rashford, but he certainly makes the most of it, doesn't he? And it had to take United going 2-0 down after like 5 minutes for them to actually start performing. Look, they still got the win. That's all they care about, but they don't look that convincing. I know it's early days, but Arsenal don't look like the same team that they did last season. Definitely trying to facilitate Kai Havertz a little bit. Green box, West Ham, 22% possession. That's a very good shout as well, Kyle. West Ham were excellent. And what a goal by Jared Bowen. I mean, that man is a saucy baller on his day, you know. And that goal where it's just come across him and he's taken one touch and not even broken his stride and just passed it into the bottom corner. And Brighton were poor. Brighton really surprised me how poor they were, to be fair. But Tottenham have started the season well. and again, a team that are going to be competing with Chelsea. I hate how much I love Postecoglou, because I'd be a fan of Celtic as well, naturally enough, and love the work he did at Celtic. And I hate the fact that he's Tottenham manager now, and I still love him, because I hate Tottenham. I fucking hate Tottenham. But, yeah. Anyway, Raheem Sterling, I just think he deserves it this week, lads. I think you gotta give me this one. It might be a while before we get to put anything Chelsea related into this box. For the foreseeable, because you just don't know with Chelsea week to week. It was a decent performance, and I was happy to see Nicholas Jackson get his goal, which was absolutely huge, I think, for his confidence going forward. And I think he's been offering an awful lot to the team off the ball, but how many times have we said this about Chelsea strikers? You've got to start putting the ball in the back of the net, and luckily Nicholas Jackson did. There was a chance against Liverpool, I remember, match day 1, that he should have done better win. I thought he was poor against West Ham last week, and he's got his goal. But this man, Raheem Sterling, doing things that we know he's supposed to be able to do, like picking up the ball, driving with it, dribbling past defenders. And we hadn't seen enough of it since he's joined Chelsea, in fairness. But, yeah, brilliant, Raheem Sterling. Hats off to him. And Chelsea, for the first time in a long time, entered the top 10 of the Premier League. That is all I'll say. And I think we're still 10th, so... Huge dub. Huge dub for the boys. Now, Yellow Box. Wow, wow, wow. That's all I'll say. And Kyle mentioned them earlier on in the chat. The man that is on the lips of all Liverpool fans this week... Darwin Núñez. What a performance. Off the bench to turn a game around for Liverpool that looked like it wasn't going to be. Liverpool looked like they were down for the count. It looked like the game was seriously getting away from them. Enter Darwin Núñez. They were 1-0 down. It was a catastrophic start to the game for them. There was debates over should Trent have been sent off very early on. And here's my 2 cents on that, right? Is the second challenge from Trent on Anthony Gordon a yellow card? Yes. And he was already booked. So, by that letter of the law, Trent absolutely should have been sent off. Oh, by the way, like the stream. I haven't even mentioned that yet. If you're still in the chat, like the stream. It helps me out a lot. And you'll be my best friend forever. Anyway, yeah. By that letter of the law, Trent absolutely should have been sent off. And we could have been looking at a completely different game in that sense. However, I do think that first booking for Trent was a fucking joke. I know it's like, again, letter of the law, he threw the ball away, but he's not even throwing it that far. Plus, he was fouled by Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon pushed him over the fucking sideline. And he's gone, fuck this. He's not even throwing it that far, like, you know. So, I think he was hard done by there. But maybe you could call it poetic justice in the end that he didn't see a second yellow for the push on Gordon a couple of minutes later. But by the letter of the law, he should have gone. But then he has a catastrophic error. It doesn't get any better for Trent after that. A mistake which led to the opening goal. And it was Anthony Gordon who scored it. I mean, Salah plays him a back pass. And it was nearly Steven Gerrard-esque. The way he's just kind of let it underneath his foot. So surprising to see him do that. And he runs in, Anthony Gordon, and buries it through the legs of Alisson Becker. Who, by the way, is a large reason why Liverpool stayed in this game. He makes a brilliant save from Almiron. And overall, just kept Liverpool in that game. And that is the difference a goalkeeper like that makes. You know what I'm saying? So, then it goes from bad to worse when, what's his name? Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk gets himself sent off. And at the time, I thought this was very harsh. He definitely does appear to get the ball, but again, it's last man. He has gone through Isak to get it. But if it was against my team, I'd be fucking fuming because he does clearly emerge with the ball. Is it a challenge Van Dijk has to make in that moment? That's probably a question you'd ask as well. Probably not. But he does make the challenge. He takes Isak out and gets himself sent off. And at that point, I'm thinking this could be bad. Like, Newcastle were already on top and dominating the game anyway. And the longer that went on, the longer I genuinely believed to myself that Newcastle were going to absolutely batter Liverpool in this game. And they had chances, and like I say, Alisson kept Liverpool in it. But we always say it, in a game where one team is on top, clearly dominating and well on top, you know, the longer that kind of game stays 0-0 or 1-0 as it was to Newcastle on the day, the bigger threat that there is. Because Liverpool just had to stay in the game. They just had to stay in the game. And let's be honest, throwing Darwin Núñez on was a roll of the dice, a final trump card from Jurgen Klopp, I guess you could say. And he does bring chaos with him. And it upset Newcastle something different. Like, they were not able to put up with the sheer strength and pace and clever movement, in fairness, of Darwin Núñez. But that is something we've been saying about Darwin Núñez. He has all those attributes. He has all the attributes to be a world-class centre-forward, but so many times last season, he snatched at an opportunity, whether that's to do with, I don't know, fucking the big price tag and it getting to his head or whatever. Or maybe he just wasn't that good. Maybe he was good in the Portuguese league. He comes to the Prem, and some players just aren't able for it. I said that about Kai Havertz recently. I said it about Christian Pulisic, actually. I was watching the AC Milan game the other night, where he gets a goal. I think he might have got an assist for Giroud as well. Christian Pulisic's a good player, but outside of the Prem is probably where he's best suited. And that's, to a degree, maybe what people thought about this man, Darwin Núñez. Having completed his first season, haven't been as underwhelming as it was. I think Peter Drury mentioned it in commentary as well, that, you know, he was compared to Haaland as well, which obviously doesn't really help his case either, does it? It's never going to be easy being compared with a literal fucking robot who, by the way, scored again. I mean, he malfunctioned and he fucking missed a penalty, but he scored again. Honestly, only for him, my FPL team would be getting no points. But in the 10-15 minutes that Darwin Núñez was on the pitch the weekend, he offered significantly more than Cody Gakpo. And that's nothing bad against Cody Gakpo. I just think this man is a more natural centre forward with his movements and the way he receives the ball. And when he got into those two situations where he finds himself one-on-one with Nick Pope, this time he keeps his head and he buries it for Liverpool. And he wins them the game. They equalise. Two very similar finishes, actually. Across the goalkeeper into the far bottom corner. And it was absolutely superb from Darwin Núñez. And it's weird because he's really struggled to get into the team this season for whatever reason. Klopp's kind of taken a bit of a... Well, I don't know if it's a disliking to him or maybe other players are just ahead of him in the pecking order. It's really hard to say what Klopp's reasoning for leaving Darwin Núñez out is. But he brings him in. He's a trump card. He like I say, he's going to cause hustle. He's going to put himself about, cause a bit of hustle and bustle, really upset the defenders, and that's what he did. That's what he did. He makes an absolute nuisance of himself. And he manages to win the game for Liverpool. And it asks the question about both of these sides, I think, moving forward when it comes to between now and the end of the season. Obviously, a ball is barely being kicked. You know, we've still got a long, long way to go in that sense. But it asks a question, I think. First of all, we'll touch on Newcastle's credentials, because, like, obviously they've got Europe now this season. Not only they've got the fucking Champions League this season. And one thing a lot of people question, and it's one thing I said in my predictions video, which again, if you haven't seen, you can go watch a lot of my predictions. I wish I could change now, honestly. But that's just the meat and drink of the fucking business, isn't it? One thing a lot of people said about Newcastle, and like I said, including me, was when Champions League comes around, how good is their squad depth going to be? Because if you're playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and then playing on the Saturday or Sunday, you're going to need very, very good strength in depth. And you look at the best teams over the years that have managed to do well in both the Prem and the Champions League, they've always had good backup when players are fatigued and need a rest, you know, those teams have been able to bring in those kind of reinforcements. You know what I'm saying? However, Newcastle haven't even got to that stage yet. They've not even started playing Champions League yet. We're only 3 games into the season. And you look at the players they're bringing on. I think Eddie Howe got it wrong as well. I think there is definitely an element of that as well, because he takes off Gordon and... who else did he take off? Gordon and Isak came off. And look, admittedly, Harvey Barnes came on, who's a decent alternative. You had Callum Wilson, who again is a decent alternative to Isak. But like Sean Longstaff was... and I guess nothing against Sean Longstaff, but he shouldn't be playing for a team that's in the Champions League. And that's just the long and short of it, really. And this was always going to happen with Newcastle. It's always going to be a tough transitional period. But listen, we are only 3 games into the season. They could go on a sick run now easily, because they are a very, very good team, and Eddie Howe is an excellent manager. But I just think they need better strength and depth. And I think Howe's kind of decision-making on the day, making the changes that he made, kind of cost Newcastle in the end. And it was a little bit... I'm going to say it. It was a little bit on the arrogant side from him. Danny, Howe and Tyndall in the mud. Liverpool fans, I'm living in a house pretty much full to the brim of Liverpool fans. We've got Danny, we've got Dad, and we've got Zach, all Liverpool fans. Josh is a closet Man City fan, really. And you have Stephen, who's taken after me and is a Chelsea fan. The Liverpool fans have been absolutely loving it. And, you know, why not? Why not? I think this man as well, Darwin Núñez, he's a bit of a cult hero as well. And very similar, actually, to a lot of Chelsea strikers I've seen down the years. And, again, that could be a bad thing, could be interpreted as a bad thing. But, say like Torres and Werner, who clearly tried hard and clearly cared about the club, but and put 110% effort in whenever they were on the pitch, but just luck was against them a lot of the time. Núñez definitely strikes me as someone who falls into that category, I think. And it would be great to see him start to really kick on for Liverpool in the future. Lads, if you're feeling extra generous, also, I mean, yeah, slap a like on the stream, first of all. But number 2... if you feel really generous, feel free to share the link around as we approach the stinker box and hence the end of the stream. But if you want to get your mates in here, share the link around. That would be extra helpful to me. Really do appreciate all the support on the channel recently. I know we've been a little bit sporadic with uploads, but like I said at the start of the Go Recreations episode, the month of August has been crazy. Crazy. It's been pretty much non-stop, if we're being honest with ourselves. So yeah, that would be really great. Thank you so much. Bollocks. I'm just spilling the fucking tea. Right. We'll leave it open for a second, like we always do. Stinker of the week. What are we thinking? Who's taking the biscuit this week, if you will? I'll leave it to the floor for about 2 minutes while I mindlessly scroll through my phone. Definitely doing something productive here. Like I said already, if you have any questions or topics, there is a Shite Talk podcast being recorded tomorrow with myself and Mr. Grievach, who I'm not sure if he's still in the chat, but he was in the chat earlier on. And it's bound to be a good one. It's bound to be a good one. I actually made a little bit of a purchase. And while we're still waiting for... we like to build suspense with the stinker box, you know. What I'll do is I'll show you what I got. I got some stuff. Alright, hang on. So the idea is to hopefully, possibly, maybe, bring the podcast on the road in the future. So I got these. Now, they're like microphone stick holder things, alright? But what they do is, We have the clip-on mics, which, by the way, have been a huge fucking addition to the channel as of recently. So you clip them on there, you put on your little wind covers, and then you just have a little chat. So me and Jack are going to use these tomorrow for the podcast to just kind of trial and error, I guess you could say. So yeah, pretty good. Looking forward to that. So if you do have any questions or topics, you can just send them on to my Instagram, which I'm not sure if it's in the description yet, but it will be. It will be upon post production, and or if you want to just respond to the poll on my Instagram or the Shy Talk Instagram, you can do that either. Danny, I think you might have got it spot on. I think you might have got it absolutely spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, our stinker of the week for match week 3 in the Premier League 2023-24 is Everton. And you know what's funny? I was all for and nearly prepared even to throw Man United and or Arsenal into that box because as a Chelsea fan, I get very little satisfaction these days because the rival fans are always doing better than us. However, Tyndall either. Imagine throwing Jason Tyndall into the fucking box. I'm worried for Everton, man. If we look at the Premier League table, I'm gonna just throw it up on my phone there real quick. I think Everton are one of 4 sides in the Premier League that still have 0 points so far. And it's not even the fact that they lost again the weekend, which obviously is a big bad, obviously. But it's mainly the fact that they lost to a team like Wolves, who I said at the start of the season that I really fear for. So, yeah, 4 sides in the Premier League still without any points. The 3 promoted sides, Burnley, who to be fair have had a tough old start with fixtures. Excuse me. Sheffield United and Luton and obviously Everton, who are sitting rock bottom of the Premier League. And it's incredible. It looks like it's going to be another really, really, really shite year for Everton, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't look like improving at all. But in previous years, I kind of looked at the Everton squad and thought to myself, nah, Everton are too good to go down. They're too big a club to go down. That much is true. But I always kind of said to myself, Everton, they have enough quality, they should stay up. But I'm looking at this team now, and I really, really do fear for them. Like, genuine fear for them. They are truly abysmal. Shockingly bad defensively. I mean, the Villa game last week was enough kind of evidence to support that, I guess you could say. They were shocking bad against Villa. Some of the goals they conceded was fucking schoolboy level stuff. Like, there was one where there was a throw-in. Michael Keane has just decided to get some sort of weird Bambi-like touch on it. And I think it was it maybe for Leon Bailey's goal? Again, I could be wrong with that, but yeah, that was last week, and it was just a comedy of error. This week was a real, what felt like a real relegation 6-pointer, and I know that's a real kind of cliche phrase, but it is. Like, because of the similar problems, such as not having an out-and-out goal scorer, I do think Wolves are going to be in a similar position to Everton come the end of the season, but it was about who had the grit, who had it going on. And Everton just didn't. They concede, what was it, an 87th or 88th minute fucking winner or something like Kalajic. The Wolves player that actually got his head boxed by Onana last week, ironically enough, was the man that managed to get himself the goal. And no sign of it ever. Now, in fairness, Jose Sa was incredible, exemplary, you could say, in the Wolves goal, and made some ridiculous saves. There was one where he's actually backtracking and he's just like panned it over his own bar. Ridiculous that from Jose Sa. And you could argue in that sense the luck wasn't with Everton because he was having one of the games of his life, but it's moments like this, moments of adversity, and you know, moments of tough points mentally that you got to try and come back from, that you have to show a bit of grit. And Everton just didn't. And if any team was going to do it, surely would have thought Sean Dyche team would. But, man, I fear for them. I really do. I don't think there's enough there. Calvert-Lewin, when he's fit and firing, is good. But like, he's not been good for a while. Even when he's fit and firing, he's not got a consistent enough run in the team over the last couple of years to warrant saying, yeah, he's the man to lead Everton forward. Injured again. Mopai just isn't it. You know, Danjuma, is he going to be a consistent goal scorer? I don't know. He's going to need fucking service. And that's one thing they certainly lack in as well, is a serious lack of creativity. And defensively, they're poor as well. Like I had mentioned, Jose Sa made some brilliant saves for Wolves, but Pickford was so fucking busy as well, man. He was so under pressure, and it's just because of how lackadaisical and fucking just shit Everton's defence are. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see an end in sight for them. I don't see an end in sight. I'm going to have a quick look, actually, before we wrap up, just who Everton's next run of games are against, because they need a run. They need a run where they start picking up some points, because the longer it goes on like this, where it's all doom and gloom, they're not picking up points, the longer it's going to be miserable for them. And it's hard. The harder it's going to be to start picking up points. Doncaster in the cup. Actually, funny thing, Chelsea kick off their Carabao Cup campaign at the start of fucking... No, not even start. End of fucking August. Because we're not in Europe this season. Incredible stuff. So they've got Doncaster tomorrow in the Cup. And then following that, Sheffield United away at Bramall Lane. Now, Sheffield United put up a really good fight and very nearly nicked a point against Manchester City the weekend. Only for Rodri again coming in clutch for them. That's not going to be an easy game, lads. And it's a game that Everton are going to have to pick up points in. Again, next after that, it's Arsenal. Do you see them getting anything against Arsenal? Probably not. After that, then, it's Brentford away as well. And then Luton to wrap up the month of September. Lads, how many points do you see Everton getting before October? I don't know. Now, they might show up against Sheffield United. But if Sheffield United show up in the same sense that they did the weekend, it's going to be a hell of a tough game. The new Everton ground next season will look great in the Championship. That's one thing as well, man. That's another thing. Is the amount of money they're having to pump into this new ground, and money that could be going on the squad now won't be, because that's where they're putting all their eggs in that one basket, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's us, lads. Those are our box for match week 3. Luckily, we've managed to get a lovely, clean stream out of it. So maybe this might be the way forward, is to do it during the day, because I tried doing it at about 10 o'clock last night, like the same as last week. And apparently that time of night, the internet goes sleepy and go bye-bye. So what we'll try and do is we will try and maybe do it during the day from now on. But thank you so much for everyone that tuned into the stream and was in the chat. I honestly wasn't expecting anyone at 12:30 on a Tuesday. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like before you go. And subscribe if you are new around here. And I will catch you next time.